The industry. I'm sorry, the recording started a little bit late. No issues. Industry with efficient industry skills. As a part of the energy transaction, electric mobility is the brightest innovation and is highly efficient when compared with fossil fuels. The main critical reason of why there is a worldwide movement towards electrical vehicles is virtually the absence of tailpipe emission as far as electrical vehicles are concerned. The production of electricity in a third world country like India or maybe China is still dependent a lot on coal driven technologies, but there is significant effort in going over to renewable energies like hydroelectricity, solar, wind power. And I'm sure over the period of next 2 decades, we will be able to have a much better engagement on non-polluting or lesser polluting technologies as far as electric generation is concerned. We will be able to kick our total dependence on fossil fuel. Today, without fossil fuels, we virtually cannot drive our economies. In fact, if oil prices go up or down, virtually creates an inflation basket, as we are already seeing in the current state. There's some war which is going on some part of the world, and it's having an impact on the entire world in terms of inflationary trend because oil prices and energy prices are up. As a part of the energy transition, electrical mobility probably is the brightest innovation and is highly efficient when compared with fossil fuel. Looking at its scope, Edify Path brings you the most insightful course module. The course includes an umbrella of topics. Now, apparently, I'm sure many of you would have actually undergone and understood vehicle dynamics, motors, powers, electronics, batteries, charging, etc. We are just going to do it more from a revision and understanding point of view because that is what we're going to expose you when we meet practically at Hyderabad at the Osmania University campus. Our electric vehicle course is specially designed one for those who are interested in the engineering and the automobile expansion, advancing in conjunction with the electrical vehicle approach. We're going to touch on a lot of subjects in the most growing and dynamic segment, which is electrical two-wheelers and three-wheelers as far as Indian industry is concerned, and a little bit on the four-wheelers also. This certification program helps to understand the working principles, components. We bring you the industry's best experts on board to train and assist you during the course of the duration of this course. Navanshu, next slide, please. A bit about Osmania University. The university's vision is to develop, enhance, and improve the quality of the human resources to meet the challenges of the regional, national, and global socio-economic changes. Its mission is to achieve excellence in teaching and research and to create opportunities for the students to contribute to national and regional development. Osmania University is re-accredited by the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, an autonomous institution, and it is done under the grants of the University Grants Commission as an A+ grade university. So it is one of the best universities across India. It provides a significant contribution to the academic and economically development of the region and the country. Its alumni have distinguished themselves nationally and internationally in various spheres of life and are spread far and wide around the world. So these are two critical partners that we have as far as delivering of this particular course is concerned. Next slide, please, Navanshu. Last and not the least, E-Oxygen Automotive Private Limited has been in the field of electric vehicle technology. It is based out of New Delhi. This company is registered in 2019. It has got two major promoters, myself and Kunal Zochi. It primarily has tied up on the training side with Automotive Skill Development Corporation as well as Electronic Sectoral Skill Council of India. These are two central bodies which work under the National Skill Development Corporation and are focused on short-term skill upgradation courses. In the duration of last 1 year, we have trained more than 2,300 engineers, polytechnic graduates and roadside mechanics in our quest to improvise upon the infrastructure of skills available to support this booming industry. At present, this industry has been dependent too much on import from China and sell in India kind of a methodology. But we are strongly committed to providing Indian engineered products and services, which provide the last mile connect of servicing as well as quality to the customers. And since India is one of the largest automobile segments, especially in the two wheelers, we actually house the largest motorbike manufacturing company in the ICE segment. We intend to do the same by supporting startups as well as Indian manufacturers in being able to upgrade themselves and come up to the business, providing the best of the services and best of the products both to Indian as well as to international customers. E-Oxygen is integrating training, and we are tied up with Osmania University, Edify Park, are two major partners for this. ASDC, which is Automotive Skill Development Corporation. Auto Institute is a Mumbai-based skill providing agency, C-centric, Skills Noida, and even ITI. ITI, we are integrated on a pan-India basis. We have three distinct level of courses, and the one that you are doing is an advanced course, an integrated one, which is both online and offline. Next slide, please. Now, this is a brief about the course highlight as to how you will be learning, obviously, from some of the best brains which are engaged in the industry. So Govind sir has been into electrical industry. The industry itself is pretty nascent. It's not a very old one. Govind sir has handled both manufacturing as well as servicing of electrical vehicles, especially two-wheelers and three-wheelers. He has worked along, we will give a brief introduction and then he will give a brief introduction for himself also. We will work on case studies and projects. This is an interactive session. Couple of them initially would be obviously lecture driven, but thereafter we will go into a system where it will be case studies. We will share some presentations along with the batch. Typically a project along with a problem statement and possible solutions. Solutions have to come from you guys. We won't be prompting you for solutions. We will make you into batches of 4 or 5 students. You need to collaborate online. Phone and net is the best tool. And then come out with your respective presentations to give it as a solution. And there will be specific dedicated time which will be pre-informed to you. We will give at least a week's time for every group to prepare. Get access to several technology walkthrough videos. We are going to show this more during the course when we are actually delivering it at Osmania. During this time, this will be hardcore intense information download as well as case studies and assessments. Our methodology of training is based more on US standards, so you need to be ready along with that. Receive internship and job assistance on successful completion of the course once you pass out, and we hope that you guys will pass out with flying colors in the assessment, which will continuously give you feedback as to your pluses and minuses which you need to rectify. Next slide, please. As I conveyed to you, the training methodology is basically conduction of individual online assessments every Saturday or alternate Saturdays. And the assessment starts from day one. You will have a pre-assessment test today. It's a 30-minute, 45-question test. More of general knowledge as well as mathematics and physics, along with little bit of electronics and chemistry related to electrical vehicle technology. So it's an online kind of an examination with optional answers. We will see what kind of response and results. Today is supposedly mild, not so tough or not so difficult. We will share the assessment with all of the candidates, and we will try to make the batches on the basis of the assessment. So in all likelihood, you don't have a choice out here. The batches will be shared along with their mobile numbers, which will be shared by the Edify Park team. You guys have to coordinate, and we will give you specific tasks and presentations that you need to bring out with. As I told you, there'll be a problem area and you need to come out with solutions. It's a course pre-assessment with a pattern of 45 questions for 30-minute duration. It starts from today, end of the session. Once the candidate's introduction is over, it will start off immediately. Motive of this assessment is to discover and accredit the students' technical know-how and knowledge in EV field as well as general knowledge. Course is scheduled in breaking up into 18 sessions. When I say 18 sessions, these aren't 18 days. Each session is between 1 to 1.5 hours. So that's a session. And typically it is done in evening on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 to 8:30. And Saturday, it is extended one from 4:30 to 8:30. Saturday, we will be covering 2 sessions. That is beyond one. So be ready for extended Saturdays. Sunday, we are not doing for the online sessions. Post these sessions, there is a session on Q&A, which is question and answer, and everybody is open. You can put your question either on the chat box or you can verbally ask that. Everybody is allowed to pose up to 2 questions. Case studies, sharing of relevant literature, presentation, and PDF files. Like if we are doing for this Saturday, prior to at least 24 hours, you will have that case study dropped to you either through email or on your WhatsApp. These are typically presentations or PDF files. As I told you, it's a case study which is either relevant to the Indian environment as far as electrical vehicle is concerned, followed by a problem statement and how people have gone around or how companies have gone around trying to resolve those problems. Presentations are to be delivered by every student group. As I said, the leadership has to be decided amongst yourself. We do not convey or dictate any terms. A group of 4 will be informed that they have to coordinate amongst themselves. So you will have to take it as a challenge to do it together during the training sessions, basically. And this is obviously ongoing. As I told you, it is an interactive 2-way session. It is not going to be a 1-way session. Groups will be decided on the basis of the assessment that is going to be at the end of this entire session today. Timely and mandatory participation is expected from all the group members. You can't say no or you can't delay your presentation. Opportunity missed is opportunity lost. It will not come again. So it is mandatory for every student to provide this presentation on the day that we are talking about. There are marks which are going to be given to this, which add up to your final score at the end of this entire course, this course that we are giving. We have brought you here so that you can absorb the maximum amount of technology, understand, but at the same time, we want your creativity as to how you can utilize it for the betterment of your careers. Next slide, please. Now, this is the introduction part. As I told you, the 3 members. We have Govind Tiwari, who's BE Electrical. He's a consultant trainer and a full-time resource along with e-Oxygen. So I will briefly hand over to Govindji for a self-introduction. We will go over to Nabangshuji, who is also from e-Oxygen. And finally, I'll give my introduction and go to the next slide. So Govindji, good evening and welcome to the first session. Govind sir comes with a very strong technical background. Over to you, Govindji. Request if you can switch on your video and give a brief introduction of yourself. Govind sir. Govind sir, are you available? Govind sir, you will, just a second. Govind sir, you will have to unmute. Govind sir, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Govind sir. How are you?
Yeah. I'm audible now?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. So good evening, everyone. I welcome everyone to this beautiful course in collaboration with Edify and Osmania University. And thank you, Sujay sir, for giving a brief introduction of myself. So let me introduce you. So my name is Govind Tiwari and I have 12 years of industrial experience. I started my career as a maintenance engineer, and for last 3 years I have been serving into the EV industry. So along with Sujoy sir, we have conducted a lot of trainings where what we have done is we have tried to inculcate skills into the graduate engineers to make them industry ready. And
Govind sir, we lost you. No issues till the time Govind sir actually joins in. Over to you, Nabangshu sir. Uh, can you just switch on your camera and give a brief introduction?
Hi, good evening all. Thanks to Edify Path and Osmania University to give us the opportunity to present these sessions. I'm Nabangshu Dev. I based out of Delhi and associated with e-oxygen from last couple of years on the development of electronic vehicles. As the course progresses, we came to know about each other more in details. I look after the sales and management part of the e-oxyl. Thank you.
Sir, thank you very much. Thanks, Govind sir. Govind sir, you can put it on chat box as and when you are ready. We will definitely like to have a formal, proper introduction of yours. Sir is having some issues on the connectivity, which will get rectified over a period of time. About me, I have approximately around 21 years of corporate experience in the working side. 2010, I actually switched over to entrepreneurship, and I have been into business uh, since 2011. We have started multiple other businesses also, and this particular venture is 3 years old, which I started along with Kunal Zuche. Kunal is also on this session, and we will take his introduction during the fag end of the session when we finish off the course, because he would definitely love to be part of the entire group. And in fact, he's already present out here. This particular company has been started with the vision of Indianizing a lot of technologies. Indian manufacturing, as you know, geopolitically, India is positioned in such a manner that we can, to certain extent, match our capabilities and sometimes even beat the bigger adversary of ours, that is China, in manufacturing. Though they are much, much bigger and technologically far more advanced than us, they've got at least 15 to 20 years of headway to us. But nonetheless, considering that India is a IT power and we don't have a dearth of technical manpower and skills in our country, I'm sure we will be able to do a catching up there. And we also have a huge MSME sector, which, if properly nurtured, can come up to the level of matching the manufacturing capabilities. So we are focused towards that. Just a second. Yeah, Govind sir, you can please complete the introduction.
no issues. I apologize, everyone. Like there was some technical issue, so did not complete. So thank you very much, sir. So my name is Govind Tiwari. I have 12 years of industrial experience. I started my career as an electrical engineer in the maintenance department. For last 3 years, I have been in the EV sector. So in the last company that I was in, my role was uh, manufacturing, operations, and servicing of electrical vehicles, two-wheelers as well as three-wheelers. So I would be taking majority of your sessions along with Navanshu sir and Sujoy sir. So maybe we have a long term to know each other, but then also as sir said that electrical fields, every one of you must have heard that government is working on an initiative of 30 at the rate 30. So by 2030, government is emphasizing on converting the IC fleet into electric. So every one of you can understand the how much opportunity in different sectors we have. So this is a nascent sector, so we should be we should be learning every day, because it's again dynamic, also changing every day. So we will try in these 18 sessions that sir spoke about, what we will try to know about is most of what is happening in the industry. So the curriculum is designed in such a manner that you are updated with the ongoing policies, the ongoing scenarios, the companies those are operating in this field, what are the latest technologies that are being used, and we would be trying to learn maximum about those in very simple languages. And it would be a very interactive session. We would be delivering you the sessions, and at the same time you will have full freedom to ask any question, any sort of questions. At the same time, we would be running some assessment tests, and also there would be real time industry uh, uh, some real-time industry case studies that we would be sharing with you. So you have to go through them, which would give you an insight of the industry, as well as that will we will also like to know the thought process of yours, like what do you think. So this way, it would be an interactive session, and at the end of the session, we hope that we would be learning a lot what's happening in this sector technologically, as well as at the government and at the industrial level also. Thank you, and we look forward to having great sessions together. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's great appreciation, Govind sir. So Govind sir is going to take the major of the technical part as far as the entire course is concerned. So approximately 14 to 15 sessions are going to be taken by Govind sir. Tavangshu sir will be focused more on the commercial engagement areas and zones of the EV technology, as to how, where this is marketed, as well as the assessment part. So that's over with the introduction of the three members who would be going to take this entire batch on this beautiful journey of interaction as well as upgradation of this technology. And I would request all of you to act as sponges. You have to absorb as much of it possibly. We will try to make it as much interesting, fun, and interactive so that you guys enjoy this entire effort. Next slide, please, Amangshu. Amangshu, are you there? Yeah, thank you. Now we will carry you through the individual schedules as to how, which date, this you can mark up yourself. It's a part of the calendar. We will share this calendar also along with you. This is divided day by day. I am going to what this provides for. First one, that is 19th August on Friday, same timing. It's on history of electrical vehicles. Now it might look as a single point pointer, but it is journey of EVs from 1800. Yeah, this technology is fairly old, more than 150 years old now. So 1800 till date, EVs had appeared virtually parallelly to the petrol vehicle technology. Somewhere, someplace, petrol vehicles stole the march, especially when Henry Ford made the Model T. And US was one of its major harbinger, or the country which started off this entire race, followed by the world, especially Europe. I mean, the two major economies. And till date, we have had petrol, or rather, I would say fuel-based engines, which have been at the forefront. There is a reason why this EV technology is coming back, as I gave you a small hint that tailpipe emission is zero in this particular technology, which is why it is being promoted. There is a probability that in case we can switch over 90% to renewable resources, that is non-polluting sources of electricity, we will be able to bring this temperature control to a very large extent. For a generation like me, who is probably 50 plus, may not be of too much consequence. But for people like you who have just been entering into their early employment stage post education, it means the most. You guys have got 40, 50 years of working life ahead of you. So it does make to have a better, healthier, cleaner earth for the coming generation. And it is for you that this entire EV technology is getting introduced to. I mean, everybody is not talking out of hat on this. So that is session two. As I told you, approximately an hour and a half, 10-15 minutes to maximum 30 minutes of Q&A session. Session three is an approach that we are taking distinctly different from how normally EV courses are trained upon. We are going to ask every individual, had you been a customer to decide that EV has to be brought in by me, I'm sure you guys would be riding two-wheelers. And 90% of the chance is that it will be a petrol two-wheeler. So suppose if we have to give this challenge to you, that EV has to be procured for your regular working, how would you go about taking the decision? Is an electric vehicle right thing for me? Why should I actually go for a EV? Apart from obviously the overhead costing, what is the critical reason why I should go for an EV? What are electrical vehicles actually vis-a-vis, say, your regular petrol vehicle? Is there a major difference apart from the core technology, that how it is run? History of electrical vehicles, a brief again. It started, the EVs which were first discovered were all on four-wheelers and primarily four-wheelers. They had a discovery on two-wheelers also. South Asia, we have had a lot of success with two-wheelers because it suits our pocket. Typically, it suits the pocket of the middle class. And then we go over where we initiate, that is on session three, on 20th of August, which is Saturday, the first session, where components of electrical vehicles will start to get introduced. Next slide, please. Session 4, as I told you, Saturday, it starts at 4:30 p.m., not 6:30 p.m. This would be a more than brief electrical vehicle basics, types of electrical vehicles, electric vehicle scenario in India and around the world. What is it that distinctly differentiates the scenario of India vis-a-vis either China or USA? Where India is most likely going to succeed? We predominantly look for more cost-effective, cost-efficient ones. India is not a market for, say, a vehicle like Tesla, in mass, I would say. That's the reason why Tesla is extremely reluctant to put up a factory here. Also, one of the reasons why homegrown majors like Tata and Mahindra are succeeding, because Tesla has decided not to put a foot inside. India's approach towards the EVs, this is more of a government thinking. Government has much more in terms of benefiting from the EVs purely than environment itself. India, as we know, is completely dependent on importing its energy needs. We are already constantly looking out and searching for deals on this subject. Our entire government is focused on ensuring that Indians get a lower cost as far as petrol is concerned, though we are not able to manage because the government also earns a huge amount of revenue from this particular activity. This is something which is also a constant headache for the government because we have to buy this petroleum products in dollars. It's not available in rupees. So we have to constantly earn those dollars, and a huge chunk of it goes away into paying for it. You might be aware that economies which surround India, which is Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, they're all undergoing severe financial crunch because of this aspect only. One is obviously COVID had created a lot of historical distortion for their economies. And now petroleum is creating some major balance of payments. Every country is trying to come out from their respective point of view, since it is in the neighborhood of India and we wouldn't like others to influence these people, these countries. So we are also trying to ensure and see that they can be helped out of this, difficult situations. Nonetheless, it's our requirement also that we shift our energy basket in such a manner that we can manage our payments in a more robust manner. What are the challenges for the EVs? Obviously, when you are completely rehauling a system and going over to a new technology, you require a different kind of infrastructure. India has lakhs and lakhs of petrol pumps. We probably have electricity at each and every home, but the moment you talk about electrical vehicle pumps publicly available for two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, we are way behind right now. No doubt two-wheelers can be charged at your homes as well as your offices, but not the case for three-wheelers and four-wheelers. And apparently where battery is a major constraint, we would ideally like, every 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers solution similar to petroleum as a product for charging of our electrical vehicles so that range anxiety is not there. I hope you guys know the concept of range anxiety. Range anxiety essentially means that I can access energy at every nook and corner and that I am not dependent on purely my petrol tank size as far as my vehicle is concerned. How do we go about meeting these challenges? Initiatives by government of India as well as a lot of state government. In fact, AP government has been quite progressive as well as aggressive, especially the Telangana government to promote electrical vehicles. And southern part of India has been quite aggressive, though the revolution of electrical vehicles, the first phase, which is the three-wheelers, was more in the cobalt region of Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. In fact, even today, if you see, more than 66% of the registration happens from the north to the eastern part, which is primarily because of the e-rickshaw. The two-wheeler, however, is changing this story. South has started contributing in a major manner. Different EV models. What are the different kind of EV models that we see commercially available? Those who have been introduced by various companies, Ola, Ampere, Greaves, Hero, Electric, etc., etc. So this is more to understand. These are also companies that you need to follow because these are the companies of future. They will be expanding very, very dynamically in the forthcoming future. Next slide, please. Okay. Can we just have the previous slide? No, Anshu, did I cover session 4 and 5? No. This one is important because this is the first Saturday. So as I told you, session 4, second part is, the first part is electric vehicles, type of electrical vehicles, EV scenarios in and around the world, India's approach towards EVs, challenge. We've covered it, right? Session 5th, prior to it, Saturday itself, the second half will be spent on assessment. We'll have a questionnaire session. It's unfortunately not written here, but we will have an assessment because 4:30 to 8:30 is a fairly long period. It's approximately around 4 hours. No. Just go next. Go next.
Just a minute. Saturday, session number 3 is also on Saturday, and session number 4 is Saturday. So it's covered 4 hours.
Okay. Yeah. Can you go to the next slide, please? 4 we've covered. Correct. First Saturday, we are not introducing you to the case study. We will preempt for the case study for the next Saturday, which is going to be more on sessions for engaging and the presentation part. Session 5, which is on Monday, is an interesting one, especially for those from the mechanical side, which is on chases. Now, that is one of our core strengths, both as a country. India produces some of the largest number of chases in the bike segment, which is petrol. If you've observed very keenly, the chases for an electric bike and the chases for an electric and a petrol vehicle are very close to each other or similar to each other. Till date, they have been predominated by 4 majors, which is Hero, Motocorp, TVS, Bajaj, and Honda. But now it's time to democratize the entire concept of chases building, which is what e-oxygen is critically engaged in. Chases development is a fairly intense science as it involves metallurgy, it involves a lot of mechanical engineering, development, which is part of the software to ensure. I mean, there was a time when everything used to be done on clay modeling and then there used to be stress tests. Today, 99.9% of that can be done on software itself. All you need to have is the input parameters. Types of frames, which is for two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and four-wheelers. Mounting position of the motors. Now, typically, the motors that are developed are either mid-drive or you can say the e-rickshaw type. Ones which are mounted in between the axle. And the second one is called as hub motor, which is a new discovery, I would say, in the last decade only. Which is the motor being mounted directly onto the wheel itself. It actually creates a lot of efficiency for the vehicle. So there are certain drawbacks also because it's a point where the motor takes the maximum amount of beating. But nonetheless, this is new technology, as I told you, where a lot of engine space is actually freed. So all you need is space for keeping the battery. The more bigger the battery you have, the better it is for the vehicle. For a four-wheeler, it is not that big a challenge. But the moment you engage and look at it as a two-wheeler or a three-wheeler, there are certain limitations of weight that you can carry. Considering that, and typically the distance that a two-wheeler is driven on an average is not going to be more than 120 to 150 kilometers. Nobody drives that much of two-wheelers. I mean, 40, 50 is the most optimum distance. So considering that, how is the mounting position of the mid-drive motor as well as the hub motor? What we see maximum is the hub motor today, especially in the electric two-wheeler scooters. But the high-speed ones that we have from Ola, from Ather, and a lot more companies are mid-mount ones, which are either chain sprocket driven or on nylon belts. Nylon belts are supposedly expected to be more efficient compared to chain sprocket. In fact, in scooters also, Honda and Activa, stuff like that, they are driven by belts. They're not driven by chain and sprocket. Next slide, please. Now, this is session 6, which is Wednesday. So, structural components of two-wheelers electrical vehicle part 2. Design considerations. Now, this is both mechanical and electromechanical to a large extent. Handlebar of two-wheelers. What are the likely handlebars? What are the braking mechanisms? Braking mechanisms are broadly divided into either disc brake or drum brakes. These are the two known ones. We also have induction ones, but right now we're not using induction. They're used more in larger format vehicles like electric trains. You require a stronger mechanism of stopping the train using only electricity. It is doable for a car or a bike, scooter, or two-wheeler. It is required more to be mechanical in nature because that can be managed. The suspension systems, which is a critical part because unless and until you don't have a robust system, you'll constantly be jumping on the vehicle while driving it. The wheel system, now here we mentioned only the alloy wheels, but yes, it's critical to mention that we started off this entire thing using spokes. So how the structural mechanism of wheel is actually designed, developed, what is its relevance? I mean, what are the components of a wheel typically structured right up to the point where it is integrated to the hub, which is mounted on the axle, onwards till the rim, and the tube or tubeless rubber and tire, which is mounted on top of the rim. The entire mechanism is done in such a manner that it is required to protect the vehicle. And last but not the least, maintenance, because it's an electromechanical device. It is bound to require various kind of maintenances. In electrical vehicle, obviously the maintenance segment is not so critical, unlike the petrol, because the number of moving parts are reduced to hardly 5% of what you find in a petrol vehicle. Petrol vehicle, we've also spent the same amount of time that we spent specializing on electric. Electric vehicle is a very, very modular case, very few parts, highly efficient, more efficient compared to petroleum. But as I told you, battery was always the bane of this entire technology as to how you store energy to drive this. So once new technology starts coming in, we will be able to track how to go about doing this entire business of switching over to electrical vehicles. Session 7, which is Friday, is more on motor controller parts, EV power systems. What is a controller? What is it today vis-a-vis what it used to be 100 years before? 100 years before, it was more of a mechanical device. I mean, if you guys have seen a watch, you will find that the entire watch is driven only by different kind of axle wheels. The small arm, the big arm, the hour arm, the minute arm, and the so on and so forth, were driven purely by wheels. Now, those functions have been taken over by digital clocks, chips, ICs, plastic circuit boards. So today, a motor controller that we know of or see of is essentially driven by that, which India is actually slightly poor as far as the technology is concerned. We hardly have a private fabricator who manufactures chips. It is predominantly developed in Taiwan and China, who are right now in some kind of a controversy, rather a fight which China wants to dominate. Working of a motor controller, it is predominantly electronic switchboard, which controls the speed of the vehicles. It also has multiple other functions like giving you information data about your battery, controlling your lighting and switching mechanism, your indicators, horns. But broadly, it is about motor controller control and speed control. That is its core function. Other functions are primarily being inbuilt because you can control it utilizing that as a control board. It's like the brains of the particular vehicle. Next slide, please. Session 8, as I told you again, Saturday, 2 sessions. We will go over to the charger technology because it is important to know that battery, which is the power storing part, requires some kind of a charger. The battery is essentially a direct current device. It needs direct current, and to directly engage and connect it with the AC power, it may not be sufficient. You need an electronic component which is called as charger. So introduction of chargers. What is the structure of a charger? Selection and sizing of charger. Charging infrastructure and system design. Modes of EV charging infrastructure. I mean, what are the various modes? Fast charger, DC-DC charger, AC-DC charger, various kind of chargers are there. Normally, people carry the current day scenario format that we follow in India. People carry a typical 3 ampere or a 6 ampere charger along with themselves, which is on board the vehicle itself. The same, if you look at a four-wheeler, a Tata Nexon or this kind of a vehicle, people are also carrying that. The moment we start getting public charging stations, we may not require to carry that, but we are still some distance away from that situation. EV charger integration, as I told you, today everybody is following different standards. The government itself doesn't have a standard. In fact, internationally, there is no standardization of the charging stations. So any company which has a financial muscle, they go about trying to develop their own format. So today in USA, it's primarily driven by America and Tesla. In China, they have their own format, different kind of coupling devices for the charging. It's a complete science in itself. Everybody has a logical reason as to why they're doing the charging that way. We must also understand that India works on 220 volts, whereas United States of America works on 110 volts. Europe again has a division. Some places it's 110, other places it's 220 volts. But broadly, 110 volt is the standard parameter. So we need to take care of that, especially manufacturers, because the geography in which they are particular sending their vehicles decides the parameter on how the charging technology would be. And it's a critical part. The second part on the 27th of August, Saturday, is the case study. This we will share much before that. And we will also share specific groups as to what kind of presentations we want from that. We will share the case study topics at the end of this presentation itself before we engage and go over to each and every student introduction. So it's a case study, first of all, which is typically of, as I told you, it's a problem statement which is directly linked with your electrical vehicles. There is a Q&A session, a question and answer session on that particular case study. We have an assessment of after that. Assessment, as I told you, is a 30-minute question that you will be attempting. Around 40-45 questions, and it's a optional this thing. It continues on your login only, and we will be helped by Edify part team as to how it's going to be engaged. Next slide, please. Session 10 again on motor controller specifications and types of control. Is more on the acceleration side. Types of motor controller, choosing electric bike motor and motor controller. Am I audible, guys? Am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Thanks. Reiterating that, session 10 will be more motor control. How you can possibly control through a joystick, an accelerator, a hand mounted accelerator or a foot mounted accelerator, and choosing the electric motor for that particular bike. The session is dependent quite significantly on, as I told you, two-wheeler technology that we'll be focusing on. 30th August, we will be covering re-engineering. We call it re-engineering. It's primarily in the market, it's known as retrofitting. We will give the logic of if India wants to, swiftly change over from petrol to electric, this is something which is ideally the best choice for the country. In fact, not only in two-wheeler, even in three-wheeler and four-wheeler. Obviously, it will hurt the interest of the petrol market the most. Government has been going slow on this particular aspect. But if re-engineering is given full support by government, we will be able to rapidly electrify our fleets. Why the urgency is what as I told you, what logical reason why we need to completely go over to quick and fast methodology. It is the need of the day. If you really ask me from a policy decision point of view, it is the need of the hour. It's far easier to connect a motor and a battery to the chassis of an existing petrol vehicle and switch it over to electric rather than manufacturing the entire body all over again and taking the relevant approvals. It gives you easier access to the person who already has an old vehicle and probably the engine is worn out. What are the types of retrofits? Again, as I told you, we call it re-engineering because it's essentially removal of petrol vehicles engine and putting in electrical vehicles. Requires a little bit of mechanical engagement, but not a very high degree of precision manufacturing because all parts and components are modular, can be replaced. Components of this re-engineering kit, and we also provide this on a technical frame, more from an experimental point of view. We are right now, because of the compliances in the country, we are not going full-fledged on this because it takes fairly cool amount of money to get it approved, approximately around 14 to 15 lakhs for one kit, one type of vehicle. So if you have 5 different brands of vehicles and everybody driving around 15 to 16 different kind of motorcycles alone, the cost of encompassing, say, all the bikes in this country, if you want to have a retrofit kit, you would require roughly around 65 to 70 multiplied by 15 lakhs as a kind of capital to get only approvals. It's not a viable segment as on date till the time the government comes on board and approves this and reduces this cost of compliance. So we will be taking across. Yes, it's easy to do. On cycle, there is no compliance required. You can simply put a 250, 350 watt motor and a battery space. You can easily convert any kind of cycle and go over to electric. But the moment you touch a license plate vehicle like a scooter or a bike, There are limitations, shortcomings. You can do a via media which is redefining your vehicle as a low speed vehicle. But today clients do not want low speed vehicle. They need a little bit of speed. Masti chahiye, thoda fun chahiye. You require torque for that, and that is possible only if you sell it as a new vehicle. So you have a plethora of companies which are coming up in this field, and they are giving. So it is not only their capability to sell. You need a whole ecosystem to support them to manufacture the vehicles and then service these vehicles on field. Plus, since this is a different technology, its service requirement actually starts end of second year. Normally, your warranty period is over by that time. So require a whole host of servicing, and in next few years, you will start seeing this coming up drastically. Next slide, please. Session 12, which is 2nd of September. This is, as I told you, market scenario. Re-engineering of internal combustion engine bike to electric, it's a part 2. As I told you, this is more of a commercial subject as to where it can be sold, what are the customer expectations, what does he want from this, who are the companies who have done it, because all kind of vehicles which are driven by individuals, which is two-wheelers, three-wheelers and four-wheelers, have the potential of being retrofitted. So challenges of retrofits, basically, what are the core challenges? Technologically, it is not very challenging because it's a modular component, just needs the replacement appropriately. Yes, you need a strong mechanic who needs support and proper training and to what to replace, where to replace, and how to replace. Design and development of retrofitting, yes, it does require, because you need to have the proper couplers so that your drive chain can be done or designed developed. Chases introduction again, chases layout, rigidity, strength, crash resistance, designing for the stability. Now this would be required whenever we are doing retrofitting also. You can't have a mismatch of a 5 kilowatt motor on a 100 cc bike. So it is critical. Chases design is also required as and when you're going for electric, because unlike say a 350 or a 650 cc engine, which requires a very strong cradle design to hold the engine and the vibration, electric vehicles you just need a capacity to hold the battery. The motor can be fitted either as a mid-mount motor or right inside the wheel as a hub motor. It's not a challenge. Section 13 is where we start off our battery technology. Now, what is electrical vehicle battery? History of batteries, as I told you, it started with lead acid. Till date, we are essentially focusing on battery as a energy storing device, which is primarily driven by a chemical reaction. It's not something new. Only new chemistries, new components, new materials have been uh, found out. Initially, we were dependent on lead acid and lead. So we used to call lead plus acid. That's how it came to be known as lead acid. Cathode anode has lead and graphite, and acid is the electrolyte in which the solution is dipped. Typically, fluid or liquid acid had certain limitations as far as the charge discharge cycles are concerned. Normally, on a lead acid, you will not find more than 900 to maximum 1000 charge discharge cycles. The moment you switch over to lithium based chemistry, it jumps to around 1500 to 2500 charge discharge cycles. What it essentially means is how many times you can charge and discharge that particular battery. Now, energy storage is nothing. I mean, treat it as a petrol tank. In a petrol tank, you only fill petrol. Petrol drives, the octane value, the combustibility of the engine, and that's how you get the efficiency out. In battery, you are basically storing electrons, which is the energy. The polarity is changed the moment you start withdrawing electricity from the battery, and that electrons basically drive your motor. So more intense storage mechanism you have on the battery technology is how you will be able to pack in more energy and drive longer distance. The entire fight is on the technology front. So we have shifted from lead acid to a lithium based technology. I'm sure in nearing days, we will be able to switch over to sodium based technology also. research is on, a lot of startups are already available. Big companies like Reliance are actually buying out startups abroad. We also have aluminum air batteries, lithium air, zinc air batteries. These are different kind of chemistries utilizing materials which are available in more prominent manner. Methodology is different, but at the end of the day, these are chemical reactions which are being utilized to drive the technology. Okay. Type of EV batteries that are utilizing, that is primarily today we have NMC and LFP. Others I did name. Today predominantly it's the NMC battery, the ones which unfortunately are catching fire. We will talk about the thermal distortions which actually drive these energy storages to such an extent that this kind of issues start happening. It is called as methodology by which we can manage these batteries. So there is certain as a cutoff temperature beyond which if the battery goes, it becomes thermally unstable and it lasts. If you guys have done your chemistry, you must understand that sodium is a highly volatile material in its raw format. But the same thing, if you mix with chlorine, it becomes your common salt, NaCl. So, and salt, as you know, it's not explosive material. It's not a volatile material because chlorine in combination with sodium makes it into a more stable element. Nonetheless, it's something which is very important ingredient of our food chain. You can't eat your food without sodium chloride or without common salt. Too much of it also gives you alternate different lifestyle problems. Nonetheless, it's a element on the periodic chart of our chemical, periodic chart. And it also has a lot of potential. Plus, sodium is found abundantly across the surface of Earth in seawater. As you know that our seawater is salty because of sodium chloride. So it depends upon how technology takes stride in near future and what are the technologies that we can appropriately utilize, considering that Earth has very less amount of lithium, plus it's already becoming a reason of struggle for capturing and controlling the source of this. Initially lithium was barely utilized as part of coloring porcelain. Later on, it came to be utilized in battery technology when toy cars were built. Then someone realized that it will be a major source of headache as well as costly element because it's now part of the battery technology, something called as rare earth materials. Again, something which our neighbor has strategically tried to capture worldwide in terms of procurement of the sourcing. Next slide, please. Session 14, which is effectively next month. Typical battery problems, which is more of a battery issue that you face. As I told you, one that is most prominently being seen is catching of fire, but there are other battery problems also. Critical one being, manufacturer will commit that on a single charge, it will go to 70 kilometers, and suddenly you find that hardly in 25-30 kilometers, it is wearing off. So there are multiple reasons and multiple methodologies of checking it. This is where some of the major engagements of and employability will be created, which is the service repair maintenance. As I told you, batteries normally don't give problem in the first year of their existence. It all starts after a year and a half. Nonetheless, battery is one area where 3 years the OEM has to give his warranty and guarantee. Which means they have to ensure staff is available and customer is getting the relevant servicing. The concept of BMS or a battery management system, which as I told you is an electronic mechanism by which you can manage. I won't stress too much. Typically, current day batteries are made up with an array of cells placed in series and parallel to ensure you get the right kind of voltage. Now, it's literally an army of cells. So once you have an army of cells, unless and until the columns are regimentized, they are disciplined and do not work in sync with each other, the army will be extremely, indisciplined and will not be able to function efficiently. So BMS is virtually the general which ensures that battery works in order, proper order. If I can give you an analogy, look at it as like 100 bottles of water, which have to be poured in simultaneously and uh, unfilled also simultaneously or drained also simultaneously. Unless and until we don't have a mechanism which does it properly, it will lead to some bottles having more water than others. In such a structure, the overall 100 bottles do not work in the same tandem, and it ultimately leads to inefficiency of this entire structure or methodology. In cells also, it works in a similar manner. So we are going to take it up, where all batteries have a concept called as battery balancing, which means the state of charge or the charge amount in every cell has to be virtually same across all these cells. So even if you take a battery pack like Tesla, if the battery is disbalanced, it will ultimately have a effect on the capacity to retain charge by the battery pack. It is a very critical component, and as I told you, it is controlled by the battery management system. Second is battery pack. As I told you, how you structure and design it. As I told you, these are range of cells in series and parallel to give you the right output. So that Govind sir is going to take you on the session. Maintenance of battery, what are the critical functions? Apparently today, a lot of electronics is doing this literally on the air using IoT devices. But nonetheless, a majority of our scooters and bikes do not come with those devices. So there are certain critical do's and don'ts when it comes to battery management. Part of it is to be done by customer. The remaining, whenever it is coming for maintenance to the technical hands, they need to take care. Battery safety and disposal. So what are the critical elements required to ensure safety of the battery? At what point it becomes uncritical and unsafe, and how to do the disposal of it? There is a huge seconds market for these kind of battery packs, which is also now developing. And for a country like India, where we will gradually see engagement of a huge number of battery packs, there is a huge potential because we have this tendency to utilize each and everything. Not only because we're still a growing economy, there is a lot of hunger even for the seconds product. That is already started developing, and battery recycling is an essential must because, as I told you, it's made of rare earth materials which are reusable and we should reuse it. This would be the second part, which is on Saturday. Session 15th, which will be on Monday, which is types of DC motors, BLDC motors. These are more on the practical side that we will be showing the current motors which are available in that. Magnet synchronized motors. Now, initially we only had AC induction motors, but now we have gradually shifted over to synchronized motors on with using permanent magnets, which is again made out of a rare earth material called neodymium. It's an element which is introduced into iron. The property of that particular product increases the amount of magnetization. Types of motors used in EVs is induction motors, stuff like that. Can we have the other two slides, please? I will quickly sift over through this. Laws related to electrical. Now, since this entire core technology is based a lot on motors, so you will have at least 3 to 4 sessions purely dedicated to electrical motors, reading of electrical motor specifications, how you can do it, motor protection and maintenance, overload protection, proper installation of the motor is very critical element. Decrease function, guidelines for storing electric motors and safety. This is on Monday, 7th of September. 9th of September, which is the 17th session, the second last session. Transmission systems, torque versus speed. This is more technical parameters when it comes to electrical vehicles. Key components of telematics. Now, this is also something where we will explain to you theoretically what is telematics. Telematics is essentially use of radio technology to connect to a particular device and either input output for data capturing or data control, and you can literally control the vehicle also. So use of telematics today is done more for GPRS coordinates, trying to track down the vehicle where it is moving, especially where either a banker needs to know where his vehicle is on which he has given a loan, or a last mile connect needs to know where his driver is moving as far as vehicle is concerned. Is he going the right route track or not? Since a lot of these vehicles are going to go on lease or loan basis, it is very important the financier need to know where this vehicle is, and this is where telematics comes of great importance. From a user point of view, as you know, GPRS maps, finding out routes is very critical, and as and when vehicles will go on self-drive mode, that is computers will start driving these vehicles, telematics will have a major role to play. Currently, there are certain telematic devices which are already being used. So these telematic devices, utilities, say for example, there is a Map My India telematic device which is used by Smart Blue. Smart Blue is one of your vehicle aggregators, as in they are taxis which are driven by a company called Smart Blue in Delhi. These are all electric vehicles. The driver's whereabout is known centrally at a point of a central server, and the driver is aware how much of battery he has got, whether he can fulfill a ride or not. He also has access to the charging stations in and around that route. So what they've done is they've pockmarked entire Delhi with charging points and charging stations. So a driver, whenever he's on his last 15-20 kilometers of his battery mileage, the warning blips off immediately. He is required to go to that charging point and get it charged. It will take 1.5, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours to charge that. And then he can go for his next ride. So telematics has certain advantage. There will be certain disadvantage as it is dependent on radio technology. But nonetheless, on an overall basis, if you see how Wi-Fi has taken over, or how internet on your phone has taken over, literally now internet is available across. Otherwise, there was a time during early stage of my life where I had to go to a cyber cafe or be on a computer to access it. I'm talking of early century. I mean, you guys were obviously way too small at that time, 2099 and 2000. That time, on mobiles, we had just started this mobile revolution, and internet had still not come in the major manner as far as mobile is concerned. Today, obviously, considering having mobile internet is basic essential, it was not so. Last section, please. Now, this is the day where, we will have one Saturday where we will have presentations of approximately 4 or 5 people, but this day is dedicated to giving presentations by all other groups. So as I told you, we have 27 candidates. We will make probably around 5 or 6 groups. We will define that. These groups are required to submit their presentation. We will give the subjects of the presentation, which is part of the presentation itself. You can take screenshots of that. We will have a case study, continuation of the case study. As I told you, we are doing alternate Saturday only. And discussion, followed by the final assessment exam, which is on 10th of September, the Saturday. And the Monday thereafter, we are going to meet physically, which is 12th. We will be meeting physically at Hyderabad. So this will be the final session on which we will be completing our online part and preparing for going over to the physical form of our training, where we are going to give you a lot of exposure on electrical vehicles, primarily two-wheelers, different kind of scooters, various parts and components, clusters, meters, how to control speed, motor management, input output of data, a lot of different kind of formats, mechanically engaging, connecting the motors, fixing the motors, and you're going to have a hands-on. I mean, we are going to literally throw the spanner and the screwdriver towards you. You're supposed to do it yourself. So it will be a great journey of around 13 days. Last day is obviously graduation day ceremony. So 13 days, including the Sunday in between. There's no holiday on that Sunday. So 12th and 25th के बीच में जो भी Sunday आएगा, that's not going to be a holiday. Okay, it's going to be Intense, so typically we will meet 9:30 or 10 o'clock, session starts. 2.5 hours of lecture, individual. As I told you, there will be more intense case studies, discussions there. We will break for lunch around 1:30. Collect back in 45 minutes. The second half initiates with some discussion, and after that, we straight away hit the practicals. So we will be bringing in couple of 2 or 3 vehicles. We will be showing you something basic as opening of plastic parts, integrating of plastic parts, the wire harness, how to engage the wire harness, opening of motors. We will be showcasing you LFP, NMC batteries, how you can integrate the PCBs and the boards of chargers, controllers. Apparently, soldering is something that we're not teaching, but nonetheless, we will show you how the parts and components are designed and structured. Uh, Last but not the least, what are the problem statements that come out, maintenance, what you need to do. And thereafter, the spanner is in your part. So you'll be doing an entire experimentation of literally ripping apart the entire vehicle, closing it back again. Apparently, we don't have the tools and the time frame to develop an entire chassis, but we will try to ensure that you get an understanding of how a chassis is developed. We'll also have a lot of videos that we're going to play. Obviously, these are third-party videos, but nonetheless, you will have fun and you'll enjoy the entire activity. So that is how we will come to a closure to our 18 sessions. Next slide, please. Now, this is a brief on the case studies that we're going to share with you. Now, case study will obviously be on 4 or 5 subjects. History of electrical vehicles. The reason why we are doing is we will integrate it with the environmental impact of the electrical vehicles. So since we have only 2 Saturdays dedicated to case study, we'll try to see what best we can do on 18th, which is the final session. Because on that day, we will have far more better sessions for the case studies. When I say environmental impact of electrical vehicles, we are going to bring in a lot of aspects like Paris Accord and various conventions where we have had the inputs of how we have to go about doing this electrification, and how we save on the carbon impact that our planet is currently undergoing. History and technology of the electrical motors is more from efficiency point of view, and also to drive home the basic skill, because this is the heart of the engine. Case study of battery technology, again a major area of development, because we are still at an early stage and nascent stage. There is going to be a lot of development, and India is going to play one of the key leading roles out here, though obviously at present we don't see that, but gradually it is going to happen. Case study in upcoming battery technology. So methodology is primarily documents will be shared. We're going to share presentations, PDF files, data and information. Presentation will be run on the case study, which is from our side we are going to give to you. A problem statement will be presented at the end of the case study, and these would be given to individual groups on the first 5 topics that we have shown you. The batches don't have a choice. We give a particular, problem statement after the case study we have shared. Requirement to be submitted, and the presentation has to be given back. So the presentations effectively start the second Saturday onwards, around 27th, 28th of August. And the last one is on 10th of September. Okay, so you get fairly good amount of time to prepare amongst yourself. So go out, try to be put to each other for the 4 or 5 batches, because everybody's marks are directly linked with that presentation. Okay, we don't want a disunified kind of a structure out here. So we will keep the batch, but I'm sure you guys are quite mature to coordinate amongst yourself, and Edify team is going to really help out on helping you cooperate and make that batch. Timing you guys have to take out, because we take only evening timings on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and Saturday slightly more time, 2.5 hours, 4:30 to 6:30 is the extra time you give us beyond that time. So you have to be very, very proactive in giving us that timing, and ensure that you give us the best as far as the output is concerned. These are presentations which have to be submitted. Edify Path will officially convey how to do it either through mail, WhatsApp, or whatever structure, we will have a limited time frame of between 3 to 4 minutes for the presentation, and all the batchmates of that particular group have to give the presentation. So you can take a screenshot of this case study. This is the most important part of it. Okay. So now we come to the last two phases of this presentation. Can we have the next slide, please? I hope you have clicked. Now this is where the self-introduction goes. We have 27 candidates. I have a list of 27 candidates. And Rohit, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Yeah. So either you can start giving every individual student their name, and they need to give an introduction. And I will give you the format how they have to. It has to be restricted to a minute. Request not to go beyond a minute. Your name, which institute you are coming from, and which year of engineering, or if you have completed your engineering. So exactly what you have done in terms of specialization. What do you feel about the electric vehicle scenario, and how do you intend to use this course for betterment of your career? This you have to wrap up in 60 seconds to be specific. It's extempore. You may or may not be able to do it. You have to switch on the video when you are giving the introduction. And Rohit sir is going to dictate on the names. And Namangshu, you will be keeping a track of each and every candidate who's giving a presentation. Just write down or print, put it on your computer as and when. So now I am handing over to you. But before we go over to that, there is a 5-minute Q&A. If you have any questions, you can write it on the chat box. After that, we will dwell, not 5 minutes, I would give 8 minutes. It's 19:52 or 7:52 to be specific. And
just a minute. What I suggest, let's the introduction on, and meanwhile, if anyone has a question, they will keep writing the questions on the chat box.
Yes, questions you can drop on the chat box. Once the introduction session is over, we will answer the queries. So over to you, Rohit. I would suggest you can keep on conveying the names. So guys, thanks a lot for allowing me to hear out. I hope I have not been boring. In the meantime, put your questions onto the chat box. In the meantime, Rohit, over to you. We would like to have the introduction of the students or candidates. Whether you are working or you are studying, it's okay for us. We would love to interact with you. We would love to have discussions with you. So over to you. Thanks, guys.
Sure. Thank you, sir, for the detailed presentation. And yeah, as sir mentioned, students, I would want you all to respond immediately so that we can finish this as smoothly as we can. We'll start with Uday Rajesh. I'm giving you the option to unmute yourself. Hi, Uday. Yeah,
good
you
evening,
can
sir.
go ahead with your introduction.
Yeah, good evening all. My name is Uday Rajesh, and I have completed my BTech in Electrical Engineering from St. Martin's Engineering College, Kompally. And I have passed out of 2019. And currently I'm working in Flipkart as a quality assurance engineer. So my view in electrical vehicles is like the best thing is like we can reduce the pollution. That is my best way. And also I have done my major project in electrical vehicles, so I'm much interested in electrical vehicles. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Uday. So next we'll go ahead with Arun Kumar. Arun, you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
My name is N. Arun Kumar. I am from Tirupati, but now in Hyderabad. I have completed my graduation BCom Computers SV University at Tirupati, passing year 2020-21. EV vehicles are more impact in the society. Pollution, to control the pollution awareness. That's it, sir.
Welcome, Arun. Thank you for the introduction. Next, we'll go ahead with Arvind. Arvind, you can unmute yourself. Please go ahead, Arvind.
Good morning,
You need
sir.
to turn on your video.
Just a moment. Okay. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Firstly, thank you for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Avin. I am from Hyderabad. Recently, I have graduated from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. I am a pass out student from 2022, and I also done my schooling in Sangareddy from Karna High School, and I done my intermediate in St. Anthony Junior College. I have a basic knowledge about basics of Python, C language, and I know some basic knowledge about AutoCAD, even SolidWorks also. In my college career, I have done the project on design of general bearing testing, and also I'm recently working on electric vehicle design. One prototype is there with a couple of members. I'm doing a project, and my hobbies is watching different language movies, also playing PUBG, etc. And why I choose this electric vehicle Emersive program, because I'm eagerly interested to start startup companies and also work through many different companies which provide more helpful innovations to society and countries. This is about myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Arvind. And next, we'll move to Avinash. Avinash, you can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, you're audible, Avinash.
Yeah. Good evening to everyone. My name is Avinash. I have done my graduation in mechanical engineering from aeronautical engineering. Today, by choosing this opportunity in electric vehicles, I have done a good selection in it. Thank you.
Which year pass out are you,
I
Avinash?
am in the year 2022, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Avinash. Next, we'll move to HKR032. You can unmute yourself and you can introduce yourself. You can start introducing with your name, and please turn on your video as well.
So now I am unable to turn on the video. We'll do something.
Your voice is not audible. Please be a bit louder.
Oh, hi everyone. My name is Harish Kumar. Sorry, right now I cannot start the video. Some error is going on.
Okay.
Okay, my name is Harish Kumar. I'm from Bangalore, and hello.
Yeah, you're audible. Go ahead. Harish, you're audible. Harish, you can go ahead.
My name is Harish, and I'm from Bangalore. So, hello.
Harish, you are very much audible, but which year have you passed out?
So from 2006 as an IT diploma in electronics.
So you are Harish Kumar Radhakrishna.
Yes, Harish Kumar.
And where are you working right? Where are you
Right
working?
now, I am working as an ATM engineer. I give service for banking products like ATM machines, passport printing machines.
Okay, and this is which city? Bangalore?
Bangalore, right?
Great. So you will come to Hyderabad for a good 15 days for this entire course, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting already for that.
Oh, great, great, great. So fair enough. For the time being till 10th, you don't need to move out of Bangalore, but once we start the offline course, we will do that. So thanks, Harish, for your introduction, and I'm fairly happy that people like you are actually going, because 2006 is a fairly long back, and you are trying an effort to switch over to electric vehicles. Thanks, Harish.
Thank you.
One small request: whatever the name that is there whenever you do the login, kindly ensure that your photograph only should be visible, and the short name and acronyms we're requesting everyone to reflect
Actually,
the proper.
my laptop was not ready. Urgently, I formatted the laptop by 4 o'clock. So now it is.
No issues about that. From now onwards, since for at least 18 sessions you'd require laptop and or your mobile, so we are requesting that you please keep it ready. So pleasure having you, Harish. Rohit, yes, next candidate, please.
Yeah. Thanks, Harish, for the introduction. Swaroop, you can unmute yourself and give your introduction. Harish, you can mute yourself.
Yeah, right now I'm in railway station myself. Jose Swaroop from Kakinada. I completed my degree in 2014. I used to work in server admin. Right now, I'm choosing for right path like electrical vehicles. So I choose this. Thank you.
So which year have you passed out?
2014.
And you are an engineer?
Yes, I'm server admin, like not engineer. Administration, like IT.
Yeah, I am aware of it. So
Yeah,
what servers? Unix or Microsoft?
Windows only. Like I learned AWS and cloud also.
Okay.
But I stopped that for my parents. Forced me to come to hometown. Like some errors are there.
No issues, Swarup. No issues, Swarup. Welcome on board. So we would love to meet you, and great to have you here on our course.
Thank you.
Rohit.
Thank you, Swaroop, for the introduction. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We'll move to the next person. Shruti, you can unmute yourself and give your introduction. And we would request everybody to turn on your video when you're giving your introduction. Shruti, are you there?
She has raised her hand.
Yeah.
Shruti, is it possible for you to unmute yourself and start your video to give your introduction?
Sure. She just wrote a message that there's some issue.
No problems. We will take it later on.
Yeah.
Whenever
we'll
she's
move
ready.
to the
Next category. Shruti, before whenever you are ready, you can drop a message on the chat box. We will take it up. Yeah. Next candidate, please.
Next, Hema Sai, you can unmute yourself and give your introduction. Hema Sai, please turn on your video as well.
Greetings and other respected members. My name is K. Hemsai. I am from Guntur district in Andhra Pradesh, sir. I completed my graduation in 2020 in electrical and electronics engineering and presently pursuing MTech in power systems specialization in Acharya Nagarjuna University, sir. It will be completed in 2022 September, sir. I would likely most the EVs. What the preference is, the electrical vehicles are plays a vital role in transportation sector, sir. In place of storage of fuel like petrol and diesel, it is the cheapest mode for transportation sector, sir. That's why I'm interested and I am weekly working this sector, sir.
Great, great.
ఓకే
Thanks.
అన్న పర్లేదు.
Thank you. Thank you, Hemasai.
ప్రాబ్లం లేదు, మీకు ఎప్పుడు ఫ్రీ ఉంటే
Yeah,
You
your
can mute
video,
yourself, Hemasai. Yeah.
your video just came on right now. So
Yeah.
welcome on board, Hema, and look forward to you joining the course.
దాని మీద వర్క్ చేయడానికి లేట్ అయింది, అది ఇప్పుడు ఓకే రిట్రీవ్ అయింది.
Next, we'll move to Kranti Kumar.
ఓకే
Yeah, you can give your introduction, Kranti.
Good evening, everyone. I am Kranti Kumar Bhukia from Warangal district, Telangana. I am engineering graduate with the electronics background, and I have completed my engineering in the year 2014. And presently, I am running my own business. And I am very happy and glad to accompany you with you in this electronic vehicle program. And I am looking forward for our electronic vehicle program to go to its peak level. Thank you.
Really look forward to having you on board, Kranti. What business are you into?
I have a boutique, sir.
Beauty boutique, as in for what exactly? It's a clothes boutique or fabric boutique? Saree.
Clothes.
Okay. That's really great, Kranti. So, do you have a technical background? Are you an engineer by any chance?
No, sir. I worked for DRDO in Hyderabad for 1 year. Later on, I moved to my hometown and I started my own business.
Wonderful. Kranti, it's people like you who's going to grow India into the $5 trillion economy. And we are really happy that you are exploring other avenues of business. Don't worry, I am from the interior business who switched over to electrical.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, welcome on board.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kranti, for the introduction.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So next we'll move to Lakhan. Lakhan, you can unmute yourself.
So myself Lakhan from Nizamabad. I have completed my MTech in 2015. Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, audible,
You're
sir.
audible. Yeah.
I have worked in solar sector, sir, for 4.5 years. Now I'm joining this course because I want to be a part of green revolution. Yes, thank you, sir.
Lakhan, you are an engineer?
Yes,
You've
sir.
done your
Electrical.
MTech.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As an electrical engineer, yes, sir.
So, are you working in the solar segment right now, or
right now I'm not working, sir.
Okay. Great. No issues. You've done the right choice. I guess this is going to boom. You have to put in some dedicated effort, and you will start seeing the fruit of your efforts. So, welcome on board, Lakhan.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for your introduction.
Thank you, Lakhan. Thanks for the introduction. Shruti, I believe you have dropped.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Shruti, you are audible. You will have to start your video also.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Very good evening. Go ahead, Shruti.
Good evening, sir. I am Shruti. I am from Nirmal. I completed my graduation in St. Peter's Engineering College in the stream of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. As my aim is to complete work in my own electrical company, sir. So I found this opportunity and I felt very happy, sir. Thank you.
Welcome on board, Shruti. And I'm really happy to find that even ladies and are coming forward for this highly male-dominated industry. But nonetheless, if you look at the consumer side of it, 45% of electrical two-wheelers are driven by women. So I am really happy to see you participate. We look forward to your active contribution to this course. Thanks for your introduction.
Thank you, Shruti. Thanks for the introduction. Next, we'll move on to Just give me a second. Dinesh. Dinesh, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, good morning, sir. Hello, good morning, sir. This is
Yes,
Dinesh
Dinesh,
Reddy.
you're audible.
Yes, sir. This is Dinesh Reddy. I recently done my BTech in Guru Nanak College, sir, Guru Nanak University in 2022. I'm from Andhra Pradesh, sir, Anantapur district. Thank you.
You did your engineering in which stream, Dinesh?
Guru Nanak University, sir. In 2022, sir.
That is college, electrical, mechanical, chemical.
I'm from mechanical branch, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome on board, Dinesh. We look forward to having you actively participate in that.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Next candidate, please.
Thank you, Dinesh. Thanks for the intro. Just give me a second, sir. I'm unmuting the next candidate. Mech R09. You can unmute yourself and give your introduction. And from next time, kindly rename it to your own name so that it will be easy for us to identify.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, myself, Sai Kundan, sir. And I completed my BTech in 2013, present working in automobile industry for Honda and Hyundai in a technical department.
Honda and Hyundai.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, which company is it that gives you exposure? So you're working for some dealer distributor who's doing Honda and Hyundai?
Yes, sir. It's a dealer distributor and from service side, sir, as a technical side in IDT department.
What is IDT department?
And IDT full form is in dealer technical trainer, sir.
Okay. So you are also into the training industry. And
yes, sir.
If I'm not wrong, these are the four-wheelers, cars.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a four-wheeler car, sir.
So you are one of the key lead convert who's going to go into electric.
Yes,
you
sir.
started,
Yes, sir.
You started getting, I guess, Honda or Hyundai, they've both not introduced their electric vehicles as far as Indian market is concerned.
As per the Indian standards, sir, only Honda City vehicle is being came in electrical plus petrol engine, sir. This both.
Maximum, I mean, 99% is petrol vehicles. Unlike Maruti, unlike Tata and Mahindra, who have introduced their electrical vehicles. And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
To some extent, we found MG Motors. And
MG Motors and Cone Electrical, sir.
Correct. So apart from
Yes.
these 4 or 5 four-wheelers, we haven't found much of engagement in the Indian market. So nonetheless,
Yes,
you
sir.
will enjoy. So Sai Kundan, really nice to have you. You are a mechanical engineer?
Yes, a mechanical engineer passed out at 2013, sir.
Okay. Great to have you on board.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining our course, Sai, and we'll
Thank you,
enjoy
sir.
along with you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Next.
And thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Opportunity is something that everybody will give in this particular field of work. So don't worry about that. We're going to have fun. We're going to have a lot of fun while we do this course.
Okay.
Thanks, Sai. Next candidate, please.
Yeah. Thanks, Kundan. Thanks for the introduction.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we'll move on to Mohan. Mohan, you can unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir. Myself, I am Pawan Verma from Hyderabad, and I have done my BTech in mechanical engineering in Gokraju Rangaraju Institution of Engineering and Technology. So I want to start my career in renewable field, and I finished my BTech in 2019.
Which field? Mechanical? Or
Mechanical, sir. Mechanical.
Great. And where are you working right now?
I'm taking care of my family business, sir. It's actually real estate, so I want to shift to work for a few years in renewable EV field and start my own business.
So Pawan, you are based in Hyderabad?
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yeah.
So when you say real estate, as in you are into the construction field?
Not construction, sir. Actually, lands.
Great. So selling and
yes,
purchase
sir.
of land.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's also a nice field, a little bit beaten right now because of market condition, but nonetheless,
Yes.
it's a very interesting field. Welcome on board, Pawan.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
Mohan is a part of your name, so it is Mohan Varma or Mohan
Yes.
Pawan Varma.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So a small request, if you can rename it during the time that you are participating in the training, it helps us a lot.
Okay, sir. Definitely, sir.
Right. Thank you, Pawan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pawan, for the introduction.
Okay.
Next is Sai Teja. Actually, sir, Sai Teja has dropped a message in the group that it is a bit difficult for him to turn on or unmute himself. He dropped a message saying that he's a 2022 pass out student from SR University from Warangal, and he finished his mechanical engineering.
Great. So I don't know whether he, this is Siva Teja, right?
No, this is Sai Teja, sir.
Oh, is there some gentleman by the name of Siva Teja also? I have written.
Even Shiva Teja is also there. Yes.
Okay, so Sai Teja, this is Pranav Sai Teja? Is that the full name?
This is N Sai Teja.
And Sai Teja. Okay. Nagula Sai Teja.
Yes.
2022 SR University Mechanical.
Yes.
Small request to everybody. You need to successful in your life. You will have to come up. So be technologically oriented and ready when the opportunity comes. So Sai Teja, this is more for you. You are a young, person. And my personal piece of advice: be ready. I mean, life gives you opportunity. You never know when. So grab it whenever it comes across. So any which ways, no issues. I understand there may be some genuine technical problem. So till that time, but when it comes to presentations, there is no one who is going to be left behind. You have to give it. It's mandatory. Yeah. Thank you, Sai Teja. So next, gentleman.
Yeah. Next is Pranav Sai. Pranav, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Hello.
Yeah. Good
Yes,
evening.
Pranav.
Good evening. Go ahead, Pranav.
Yeah, myself, Pranav sir, and I have completed my BTech in Kakatiya University in Mechanical Department, which is located in Warangal, and I've chosen this path because for a gain in knowledge in electric vehicles, and so in future the electric vehicles are also grown. That's it, sir.
Which year pass out? Yeah. Sorry.
2021, sir.
Pardon?
2021.
You working somewhere right now?
No, sir. Right now I'm preparing for the government jobs. Like.
Great. No issues.
Yeah. Okay.
So welcome on board, Pranav,
Yeah,
and we'd love to have your active participation in this course.
Yeah, thank you.
What I can tell you is once you've done this course, you can literally design a vehicle of yours. The group has approximately 27 guys. So in case you're planning to do a startup, this is the best place to actually recruit your partners. And in case you are searching around, network a lot, because that helps you either from a job search point of view or from knowing each other. While we will help you in that field, but do link around and be talkative. Consider everybody as a friend. Yeah, thanks.
Okay,
Yeah. Next
Thanks,
candidate,
Pranav
please.
Sai. Yeah. Next, it is named as RP Computer. You can unmute yourself and introduce your, can start your introduction with your full name. Are you available? RP Computer. I'm asking you to unmute yourself. I've sent you a request. He's not responding right now, sir. I mean, we'll get back to him once we are done with the others.
Which computer you said? SP Computer. RP Computers. Okay. No issues.
Yes. Next is Sai Siddhartha. Please unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir.
Very good evening.
Good evening, Siddharth.
My name is P. Sai Siddharth. I am from, I have completed my graduation in 2022 from Vidyajyoti Institute of Technology, Chilkuru. I have chosen this electric vehicle program because of the world is facing pollution issues and fossil fuels. We are not getting fossil fuels as like we before get. So we have to overcome those problems. The Indian government has planned to 30.
Sai, sorry for interrupting. Have you switched on your video? I'm unable to see your face.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah,
so
that would be better.
So we have chosen this. That's it, sir.
Okay. Which year did you say you passed out?
2022.
Okay, so you're a fresh graduate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have you started working somewhere or searching for?
No, sir. I'm waiting for this only.
Oh, great.
Yes.
So welcome on board, Sai, and look forward to your active participation.
Thank you, sir.
Right, and thanks a lot for your introduction.
Thank you, Siddhartha, for the introduction.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we'll move to Sampath Kumar.
Hello. Sir, am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
you're audible, Sampath.
Yeah.
Please turn on
Good
your
evening, sir.
video as well.
So I met with an accident recently, so I can't turn on my video. Sorry, sir.
Okay.
No issues.
Sir, good evening, sir. My name is Sampath Kumar. I have graduated recently in 2022, specialization in mechanical engineering. In college, SVIT, Swami Vivekananda Institute of Technology, which is located in Secunderabad. Thank you.
Thanks, Sampath. Wish you get well soon.
Thank
I
you,
hope
sir.
you will be physically fit to participate from 12th onwards.
Yes.
Great. No issues about that, Sampath.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Sampath. Next, we'll move to Shiva. Shiva, please unmute yourself and introduce yourself. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Hi to everyone.
Yeah.
Shiva, please
Yeah,
turn on
Shiva.
your video.
Okay. He's turned on the video. Just again switch it off. Shiva, you can turn on the video and you're still on mute. Unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hi to everyone.
Hi, Shiva.
Myself Shiva Naik. I'm still studying degree final year right now in Osmania University. I'm very curious to know about the electric vehicles. So I'm interested in electric vehicles. Thank you.
Great. Shiva, which year are you there in Osmania and what is your specialization? Shiva, can you answer me?
I'm still studying right now.
Yeah, which year?
I'm still studying degree final year right now. In
Yes,
Osmania
sir.
University.
Which year I am saying? Second year, third year,
Final year.
Final year. Great. And which field, sir?
BCom computers.
BCom computers. Great. So, Shiva, congratulations and welcome on board. I guess you're the first gentleman, not the first, the second, I would say. There is one more gentleman who's running his business. So, welcome on board. And we are really glad that even members like you are coming up front to learn about this technology. So, it's technical, but there's nothing that you can't catch up with. So, look forward to engaging along with you.
Yes,
Thanks, Shiva.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next, we'll move with Shiva Teja. We have two Shivas in the group. So Shiva Teja, please unmute yourself.
This was Shiva Ram then? I think Shiva Teja gave his. Okay, now Shiva Teja.
Shiva Nayak has given his introduction.
That is Shiva Nayak Ram, or there are three Shivas there. I have Shiva Teja and Shiva Ram here.
Okay. Shiva Nayak, please unmute yourself and can you give us your full name?
Shiva Nayak. Shiva Nayak.
Fair enough, not an issue.
Yeah. So Shiva Teja, please, you can continue with your introduction.
So my name is Shivataja, sir. I recently completed my graduation in Guru Nanak Institute of Technology, sir, and I belongs to mechanical department. So as I'm interested in mechanical field, I chosen this Edify path, sir. So that helped me to build my career, sir.
That's great. Yes. Shiva, you passed out recently, right?
Yeah, sir. Recently I graduated.
Anything that you've done in the electrical vehicle field or the practical side?
No, sir.
Not yet. So welcome on board. You will enjoy.
Yes.
So I'm sure your heads would be itching to try hands-on and practicals, but let's put you through the theory part and then we will go over to the practical side.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Thanks, Shiva.
Thank you, Shiva Teja, for the introduction. Next, we have Swarnakar Reddy. Please unmute yourself, Swarnakar. Swarnakar, I've sent a request to you to unmute yourself. Yeah. I think he got disconnected, sir. He's not in the call right now.
This is S. Swarnakar Reddy, right?
Yes.
No issues. Next candidate, please.
Yeah. Next we have, Swarnakar Reddy is back. I'm just asking him to unmute once again.
Sir. Hello.
Yes,
sir.
Swarnakar, you're audible.
Yes, sir.
You are somewhere outside in some musical environment or something? Or is this a car audio?
Car audio, sir.
Okay. Can you just reduce the volume?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sir. My name is Swarnakar Reddy, sir. I am from Tandur.
Can you switch on the video if it is possible?
Sir?
Video. Can you switch on your phone or?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead. So you're driving yourself? You're driving yourself, Swarnakar?
Yes, sir.
Brave man, huh? Okay, go ahead with your introduction. We'll keep it brief.
Sir, my name is Swarnakar Reddy, sir. I am from Tandur.
Okay.
Sir, I completed my BTech in Vijay College, sir, at Hyderabad.
Which year?
Sir, complete, sir. BTech mechanical branch.
Which year?
2021 passed out, sir.
21 passed out. You're working somewhere?
Sir?
Are you working somewhere?
No, sir.
Not working. No issues. This car that you're driving is your own?
Okay, sir.
No, I'm asking a question. This is your car or someone?
Sir,
car?
My car, sir.
Great. So you are a rich man. Welcome on board, Swarnakar. We look
you,
forward to having a good session along with you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Swarnakar, for the introduction. Next, we'll move to Venkatesh. Venkatesh, please unmute yourself and you can give your introduction.
Hi.
Hi, Venkatesh. How are you? We can hear you. You are audible.
Hi, sir. Actually, I'm not a graduate, sir. First of all, I'm sorry to say this.
No problems. Don't worry about that.
I dropped out from graduation. Okay, thank you, sir.
So you
I
write your,
completed intermediate in 2016, sir.
and what are you doing right now?
I'm working as a jewelry maker, sir.
Pardon, jewelry maker.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Gold jewelry, or artificial
Yeah, sir.
jewelry.
Yes, sir. Gold jewelry.
Gold jewelry.
Small gold
Great,
jewelry.
great.
Yes, sir.
So
Like rings. Yeah, rings, etc.
I understood, Venkatesh. So what actually motivated you for switching and going for electric vehicles?
I'm very curious about electric vehicles and the electric cars. Actually, I want to work with electric vehicles. Sir. That is why.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So fair enough. We will get an electric vehicle. We'll get, in fact, more than one, 2 or 3, and we will give the exposure. Welcome on board. I guess fairly distinct background that I would suggest. But yes, Venkatesh, we are really happy that there are inquisitive minds like you. Welcome on board.
Okay, sir.
You write your name
Thank
in
you so
short
much.
as Venkat, right?
No, sir. My name is Venkatesh Alvedu. I write it full name, sir.
You write your full name. So do we have another Venkat in the batch also? This is not for you, Venkatesh. I'm asking
Yeah.
Rohit.
We have another Venkat, sir. He's not there in the session. They have joined the session. I think they left in between.
Okay, okay.
Once everybody is done, we'll get back to the students who missed. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So thanks, Venkatesh, for the introduction.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Yateshwar Chari. Please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hi,
Yeah,
Yateshwar
you're
Chari.
audible. You're audible.
So very good evening, sir. Myself, Yatishwarachari. I'm from St. Mary's Engineering College. I have recently graduated. So passed
Sir,
out from.
video on, please. Video on, please. Yeah.
So I'm in upstairs. There are relatives in my home.
No, it doesn't make a difference to me. No issues.
I'm recently passed out 2022 batch in electrical and electronics engineering. I'm interested in electrical vehicle, where I can build my career and have a startup company.
Okay. That's great. And you have recently passed out 2022, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Tell me one thing. Is it cloudy in Hyderabad?
Yeah, it's cloudy, sir. It's
Great,
very
great.
beautiful, actually.
Yeah,
Cool.
I can see that. Quite beautiful. It's quite cloudy in Delhi also.
Yeah.
So welcome on board, Yateshwar Chari. That's how it's pronounced, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for your introduction. We look forward to your active contribution. Next candidate, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chari, for the introduction.
Yes.
That's it, sir. We are done with all the introductions. There is one more person who's there in the call, but he's not unmuting himself. RP Computer. I'm not sure.
Okay, there are certain names that you have given. Now I just need to see whether they've been Ullakunta Veera Narsimha.
No, sir. He missed the session.
He missed the session. Okay. Ramesh. I just have his first name, Ramesh.
Ramesh has joined the session. I'm not sure. When he left, but initially he had joined the session. We'll call him and we'll coordinate with him.
Okay. Okay.
I think that's
Shivaram Reddy.
Yeah,
Shivaram
he's
Reddy.
just joined. Yes, just give me a second. I'm giving him the access.
Yes.
Shivaram, you can unmute yourself. I'm giving you the request.
Yes, sir. Hi. Hello.
Hi, Shivaram.
Yeah, I'm audible, sir.
Yes, you're audible.
Sir, myself, Baireddy Shivaram Reddy. I have completed my Bachelor's of Technology in Mechanical Engineering from Srinidhi Institute of Science and Technology in the year of 2021. And The main reason I have chosen the electric vehicle course is I'm very big fan of Elon Musk and the Tesla company. The car, the design, it's very attracting to me. So that's why I have to increase my knowledge in EV in oxygen vehicles, electric vehicles. That's it.
You're working somewhere right now?
No, sir. No, sir. I have planned abroad to Canada, but the visa is not rejected, sir.
Visa is not rejected. I didn't get you.
Sir, visa got rejected, sir.
Okay. Any specific reason given?
Is the communication itself, sir.
Okay. No worries. We will polish your communication skills also.
Yes, sir.
We'll make you a pro as far as presentation is concerned. Don't worry about that.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks for your introduction.
Thank you, Shivaram.
Thank you.
So, yes, sir. So
Rohit,
that's it.
Rohit. Now, there was one gentleman by the name of only Venkat. That is same Venkatesh Alivalu or Venkat is different.
Just give me a second, sir. I'm just checking.
And Rasagnya Rima.
Yeah, Rasagnya Rima had joined the session, but she left in between. I'm not sure when she left.
Okay.
And I believe Venkat should be RP computer, sir, because other than that, everybody's name is matching. So
No, there are few more names. Shiva Nayak we have covered, right?
yes.
Shiva Nayak is covered. Bodham one sheet.
Okay, just give me a second.
Bodham
No,
one
we
sheet.
didn't cover him.
Okay. He didn't join in.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So that's great. Guys, that's good for your self-introduction. You can share the new list right now. We are good to go for the 30 minutes self-assessment. Many members have actually left out. So can they be called in again? Or
We'll coordinate. I'll coordinate with them and I'll ask them to go through the test.
Great. So this tests of this will request that we share it with the e-oxygen team. We will be utilizing to make it. So guys, that's it for today as far as the presentation is concerned. The test is mandatory. So the Friday session, if anybody is missing out, we're going to ask the gentleman to first give the examination and then allow him. So it's a request, Rohit, that everybody attempts this test. And that's it from our side. Now, if you guys have any questions, any queries, you can drop it. Or is there any common email to which these queries can be sent, Rohit?
There's actually a WhatsApp group, sir. So I'll add you also into that. So we can actually.
If, me, Govind, and Nabangshu can be added to that group.
Sure.
Okay, and we would love to get those queries for this course. So that's it for today. The next section starts on Friday, 6:30 sharp. That will be taken by Govind sir. Okay, but prior to that, we need the results of the assessment and finally the batch which can be shared. So it's 8:39 and obviously over to you guys. Best of luck to give your pre-assessment. Request that it should be completed today itself. You have got 30 minutes. So best of luck guys and see you till Friday. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you for attending. Sir, if you can just stay back, once everybody leaves, just wanted to discuss further stuff.
Sure. I'm there. My entire team is there rather.
Sure. Thank you all. You can leave the meeting and you guys
Thank you,
can,
everyone.
start taking the test from the login credentials shared with you. Requesting all to, leave the meeting.
Navanshu, can you stop the recording part also?
Yeah.